Hi, everyone.
Hello.
We are just going to give it a minute or two, let others join, and then we'll get started.
Yeah. How are you? Hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah, I hope everyone's having a good day so far.
Mm. I'm really excited. Are you?
Yeah, so I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Be a good
yeah,
time.
well, why don't we get started then?
Yeah, we could get started.
Okay, cool. So, hi everyone, welcome. This is a workshop that we're doing, live streaming as a DJ. So we're gonna share how to, live stream your DJ sets. So what we're going to talk about during this workshop is we're going to go into the gear that you'll want to use, how to set it up, streaming software that you'll need, how to set up your stream, building your community, and then platforms, the various platforms you can stream to, and the different monetization for those platforms.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A section. We'll be answering them at the end of this presentation.
Yes. And we also have a guide that we'll be providing at the end of the workshop as well. It's going to have a lot more detailed information of everything that we've covered and just some more like in-depth tutorials and stuff. So definitely just keep an eye out for that link at the end. Okay, so before we begin, just want to share a little bit about who are we. So I'm Bexxie, I'm a DJ and house producer. I've released on labels like Antuna Beats, Tool Room, Insomniac Thrive. I've played events like EDC Las Vegas, Beats for Love. I've toured with Seven Lions. And I do a weekly live stream on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Now I'm gonna go into this a bit more. I don't suggest you, if you're just starting, to start with multi-streaming. Just pick one platform and then you can add others as you feel comfortable. That took some time to get to there, but so I just wanted to throw that out. We'll go into that a little bit more. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me. And then Helena, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Helena. I am assistant management for Glass Mainframe, so I help represent Bexxie and a couple of other artists. I also moderate Bexxie's streams and I design her emotes. On top of all that, I have done my own live streams on our publication called Glass Factory and then my own personal channel, This is Helena. So yeah, this is a little bit about me.
Yeah, you should definitely check out Helena's live streams too. She does a lot of really cool stuff on there, like the chainmail making and
Yeah,
pressing, all sorts of cool stuff.
I do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay. So let's dig into the gear. Now, as I mentioned before, we're going to be providing a guide. So we're going to have links to all of the gear that we've mentioned in this workshop too. But I just want to share, a little bit about like the essential gear that you're going to need to live stream. So of course, for a DJ live stream, you're going to need a DJ controller or CDJs and a mixer. You're going to need headphones, microphone, audio interface, computer, camera, which could be in the form of a DSLR, or you could use your phone as a camera, and we'll talk more about that, and then lighting. So let's dig into each of those items here. So this is the exact setup that I use that I'm sharing here. So I have the Pioneer XDJ XC. I really like this one because it kind of mimics a club setup without having to have like all CDJs and a mixer. So it's just a solid controller. And then headphones, I use the Sennheiser HD25s. And then for microphone, I just got this like dynamic microphone off of Amazon, just an Amazon Basic. So it's very budget friendly, it does the job for the streams. And then computer. So I want to talk a little bit about this because You can just live stream with your phone, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute here. But if you're going to be using streaming software, which we're going to get into more details about that, you will need to use a computer. This is the one that I have. You don't have to have the exact computer. You could use Mac, PC, or whatever. But what we recommend is it has to have at least 16 gigabytes of RAM at the minimum in order for, to be able to stream and upload and have good quality and all of that. So then audio interface. So in order to get your audio from your controller or your mixer into your computer, you'll need some sort of audio interface. This is the one that I use, the PreSonus audio box. But basically any audio interface will do as long as you have at least two inputs to get the left and right in there, which I'm going to show you what this audio configuration looks like. So here, okay, so just wanted to show what mine looks like. So out of the back of my XDJ, you can see I've circled here in red. I've got two XLR cables. They're coming out of the master one output out of the back of my controller. So you'll see something similar if you have like a different controller, different mixer. And then that's being inputted into the audio interface. And then you'll see there's like a couple volume knobs here, so you can adjust the volume to just adjust like, the volume of the stream. And we'll kind of talk about that a little bit later to make sure the volume's at the right volume. So that's my audio configuration. Okay, so camera. So I use the Canon M50 Mark II. If you're going to use a digital SLR, you will need these two accessories. One is a capture card. I use the Elgato Cam Link. A capture card allows you to get high quality video into your computer and onto the stream. And then you'll need some sort of continuous power supply source because you don't want your camera dying midstream. So if you just use your camera battery, and depending how long you stream and how much battery there's left, you could run the chance of it dying midstream, which you don't want, right? So you want to get some sort of continuous power supply. They're also sometimes called a dummy battery. That way your camera is able to be plugged into like an outlet and just having a continuous power supply the whole way through.
Yeah, and there's various budgets that you can go with this equipment. If you do go this route, we highly recommend not skimping on the capture card and the AC adapter power supply or dummy battery.
Exactly.
Because it is your connection. It keeps you from overheating, keeps your camera from like allows it to stay in stay on, but also not overheat or swell. If a battery swells, your camera could be done for and you lose a lot of money from that equipment.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
definitely, if you go this route, we recommend investing in something like the Elgato and then the manufacturer's recommended AC adapter, continuous power supply, and dummy battery.
Exactly. Yep. Okay, and then so just to show the configuration for this, so basically it's gonna go, you're gonna have like a micro USB or micro HDMI cable that's gonna come out of the DSLR. It's gonna go into the capture card, and then the capture card is gonna go into your computer. And then it should be able to be an option that'll show up when you go into your live streaming software, which we'll show in a little bit. So, okay, camera, you can use your phone. So I mentioned this already. You could either use your phone as a webcam, and in the guide, we do have a tutorial which shows you how to use your phone as like an additional camera or as a webcam that you could use in your streaming software. However, you can also just use your phone to stream, and you don't even need a computer, you don't need a DSLR, like you don't need anything. But if you do this option, what you will need is the iRig or some sort of audio adapter. So basically what this does is it allows you to get the audio out of your controller or mixer and into your phone so that you have audio in the stream. So let me show you actually what that looks like. I have it right here. So, okay. So you'll see in this screenshot here. So next to the XLRs, I also have I have these RCA cables, right? So also known as like red and white cables. So they're in my master 2 out. So they're coming out of my controller. They're going into the iRig, which it's an RCA cable to TRS or 1/4 inch cable. So that goes into the iRig. And then from there, it's a little 1/8 inch jack, but I have this dongle here so that it plugs into my phone. And then from there, just plug it into your phone. And then you can just easily open up whatever live streaming app. You can open up TikTok, Twitch, whatever, and then just hit start streaming and you're good to go. Also recommend having like a little tripod too, so you could set that up for your phone. So yeah, so if you're like super, super new to this and you just want to get your feet wet and try it out, this is what I did when I first started streaming, like in the pandemic days. I was doing this first before I had like all this other gear and really had the whole like streaming set up. And I just feel like it was just like a good entryway to really just get your feet wet and figure things out without having to get into all the technical stuff at once. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so other thing too, lighting. So you could use natural lighting, like say if you have a window or something that you can be in front of, but like it could be a sunny day and the next thing you know, it starts raining or like the clouds roll in. So it's not going to be a consistent lighting source to use natural lighting. So I do recommend having some sort of consistent lighting source. I'm using a ring light I just got off of Amazon. I also sometimes what I do is instead of having the light face directly towards me, sometimes I actually have the light facing the opposite wall. That way it bounces and comes back and kind of diffuses it a little bit. So that's something you can kind of play around with. You can also have two lighting sources that are like 45-degree angles angled at you, and that way it kind of reduces any sort of harsh shadows in the background as well. So there's a lot you can go into with lighting as well, but this is currently my setup. I use this ring light. And then I have these color changing LED floodlights that just sit on the floor behind me and then just go like up against the wall. So you just have like some fun changing colors. So yeah, you could definitely go like get some really interesting like lighting and really have fun with it too, with like the background and stuff. But this is my current setup.
Yeah, and for me, I have this green light bulb. I use light bulbs, smart bulbs. This one can change colors. This one can change colors right here. And then I have a halo light bouncing off of the wall to hit my face nice and soft. So that's what I use.
Yeah, awesome.
Hmm.
Okay, so all right. So before we get into setting up your stream, we just want to quickly acknowledge copyrights. I know this is a big thing too with live streaming as a DJ. So we want to acknowledge the risks in playing music on stream, playing copyrighted music, right? So what we recommend is if you're going to use Twitch, we recommend applying for the Twitch DJ program and following their guidelines. Now, I know that this is a very new program. There's a lot of questions about it, a lot of confusion about it. I recently just joined and I have not had any issues with it. I've played IDs, I've played unreleased music, and there was no issues. They just have a restricted list of artists like that you cannot play. The list is very short actually, and it's mostly like mainstream artists. Like I think I saw like Rihanna and Ozzy Osbourne and things like that. So things that you may not play, or like if you do have like a Rihanna remix, maybe avoid playing that one because you might get flagged for that. So yeah, so I recommend applying for the DJ program when you get your Twitch set up. And then for YouTube can definitely be a little bit random and stricter as far as what they'll take down, and they really don't have any guidelines available. So we do recommend testing music beforehand, which you can do. And I'll talk about this a little bit later, but basically you would set up a video that's unlisted rather than public on your channel. And then that way it doesn't go out to your, channel followers or anything. And then if anything is flagged, you'll be able to see it. So yeah, so that's the copyright stuff. And then, okay, let's get into setting up your stream. So first of all, Twitch. So if you haven't already, I suggest like creating your Twitch account. If you want to stream to Twitch, so you'd create your Twitch account, apply for the DJ program. Like I mentioned, it should all be in there when you set things up. And then you can add your about and add in your stream schedule. So let me actually show you what that looks like here. So this is my Twitch account. So if I go to about, you can see, so like you could put like a little blurb about you. You can add in your socials. These goals here kind of like already automatically get set up. Right, Helena? That's like,
Yeah, that's a new
like,
update. They
okay.
automatically do that now and manage those goals for you for the most
Yeah.
part, but you can customize them.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
so there will be these goals here, and then down below there's this panel section where you can like have your own like, custom graphics that you can set up. So I have like about me, my socials, there's like a donate link. Oh, I guess I need to update that. Upcoming shows, so like links to my bands in town, and like my gear setup, a link to that. So if anybody was curious. And then as far as scheduling a stream, then there's this schedule tab here. So I play every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. So I have that set up on my schedule, but if you wanted to edit your schedule, you can then just like set up a recurring stream here. You can turn on vacation mode if you're, want to go on vacation. You can set up like individual streaming events, things like that. So yeah, so when you get that all set up, definitely get your stream schedule in there so that your followers will know when you're regularly streaming. Okay. So that's Twitch. Did I miss anything there, Helena?
I don't think so. I think you covered everything really good.
Okay, cool. All right, so setting up YouTube. So creating a YouTube account, very straightforward. There is an about section like Twitch where you can just fill out a little blurb about yourself, put in some contact details, things like that. What I would do want to point out with YouTube, which it's kind of more specific to YouTube, is something that I like to do is I like to add in details to every stream that I do into the description. So I just have this like copied somewhere and then I can paste it in. But I got things like my stream schedule, a track list links, equipment list, social media links, and contact information in there. That way, when somebody comes across the video, they can see all that information in the description. Okay, so let's talk about streaming software. So OBS seems to be like the industry standard. It's free and open source, and it's just great software to use for live streaming, for video recording. You can use it on Windows, Mac, or Linux. So yeah, so this is what I use, this is what Helena
Hmm.
uses for streaming. This is the link where you can download the software, and then you just install it. And then we're going to show you how to set up OBS here. So this is what we're going to talk about with OBS. So if you're not familiar with some of these terms, don't worry, we're going to dig into this, but we're going to show you how to set up the platform you're going to stream to. We're going to talk a little bit about stream settings. We're going to talk about docs, scenes, sources, and then integrating things like visuals, overlays, and alerts. So let me jump into OBS now. So give me 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah, I love OBS. OBS is it's a bit of a It's a bit of a learning curve, we'll be honest, but
Yeah.
once you get a start on it, you'll start to understand the concepts. There's some similarities to other programs. I'd say I'd compare it to Photoshop just a tiny bit, but it can
Yeah.
get complex, but it's also pretty simple, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
definitely was intimidated when I first downloaded it.
Hmm.
Especially like I said, I was doing, for my phone first, and that was like a
Yeah.
pretty like simple plug and play, hit start streaming button on the app, and I was good
Right.
to go. Where this was like, oh my God, what are all these things?
Yeah.
But yeah, once you figure it out, like it's pretty simple. And like Helena said, I would also compare to something like if you're familiar with Photoshop or Adobe Premiere, if you do any video editing with like the way that it's laid out, I feel is kind of similar in that way too. So, okay, so when you download OBS, this is pretty much what it's going to look like to begin with. It's going to be very, very blank. Nothing's going on. This middle section here, just a big black rectangle, that's going to be like where you're going to see all the audio and visuals and stuff that we're going to set up here in a second. So let me start with adding in our streaming platform. So you can either do, I'm on a Mac, so there's preferences, or you can also hit the settings button down here. But what you want to do is go to stream. And then here it'll give you an option of platforms to choose from. I've already set up Twitch for this example, but basically what you do, like if you were gonna click Twitch or YouTube, it's just gonna have you step through just doing like a login. So you just put in your, username and password. If there's two-factor authentication enabled, it'll also step you through that as well. And then once you do that, it's connected. You're good to go.
Yep.
The other thing I want to mention too, so just like setting things up, is I want to just talk a little bit about bitrate. I'm not going to go too much in detail because we do have a link to a tutorial in the guide for this. But I definitely recommend watching that when you do your setup. So bitrate, you want to be able to set the correct bitrate based on your internet's upload speed, which you can find your internet speed by going to just Googling internet test speed or speed test, and it'll show you what your download and your upload speed is. Now, the upload speed that's the important one to look at. So for me, my upload speed is 20, I think it's 20 megabytes per second.
Hmm.
Um, so at that rate, I am like good to make it 4,000 kilobytes per second. Again, this will be in the video. They'll kind of talk about what number to put in here. But it's just kind of based on that upload speed. Because if say you have a slower upload speed, you need to set the bit rate accordingly. Otherwise, your video might drop out, might be really choppy. So this is a pretty important piece to get set up when you start streaming.
Yeah, and I have a slower internet speed usually, so I range from the 2,500 just to be safe, because sometimes it ranges from 5 upload to 35. So
Uh,
just for the consistency, I keep it at 2,500, which, you can work with that. You can stream with that and you can get a pretty high output quality.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah.
And like I could actually probably make mine a little bit higher, but because again, I'm not gonna go too in depth with this. But when we multi-stream, because I multi-stream, that can also take up some of the uploading resources. So that's why I keep it more like 4,000. I could probably be a little bit higher than that, but because I have a lot going on, I just leave it at that. So
Yeah, it's best to play it safe, long story
yeah,
short.
exactly. Exactly. Okay, so those are the settings. So then let's talk about docs. So docs are like basically all these little windows and things that you can add in and customize. So when you set up Twitch, I think it actually automatically adds some of these in here, but I want to show you where they are. So there's this docs menu up here. So chat is definitely one you'll want in there. So you can, be able to see what's going on in the chat. You can then chat with the viewers, all of that. And then also we want the Twitch activity feed. This is cool because you can also, sometimes like I get in the zone on DJing and I don't always like notice what's going on. But then if I look over and I see something pop up on the activity feed, then I'm like, oh, okay, this person gifted somebody, a sub, and we'll talk about what all that means later. But that's something that I'd want to like shout out on my stream and thank that person for doing that. So having that activity feed, that's like a good one to have to kind of just see what's going on, see if somebody follows you, stuff like that. Then we'll want the Twitch or the stream information. So this is a good one too for Twitch, because like this will be the title of your stream. And then if people have notifications on for your stream, this is what the notification will say. So you can like customize this. So I always do a Wednesday, but say I just decided to do like a random rave on a Sunday, I might just like edit the title to say something like that. Yeah, and then we've
Yeah.
got the were
We
you
got
gonna
the
say?
category and the tags too. Don't forget those.
Oh yeah, yeah, in the
Mhm.
category. Yeah, so this is something that will be when you go and like create your Twitch account, right? You'll set that category
Mhm.
there. But if you needed to change it, you can change it here as well. Mine just always stays on music, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing too was the stats.
Mhm.
Right? So this is
Yeah.
something, Helena, do you want to speak to the stats? Because I know this is something that you use a lot.
Yeah, so on the bottom right, very bottom right, you can see basically the very basics of what your stream looks like while you're live. When we run a test stream, you'll be able to see what both of these look like. I'm assuming. But yeah, this is a more detailed look as to what's going on. It'll show you how much of your CPU is being used, which if you have a full C drive like I did for a really long time, this was a very, very important step to know like what was slowing down my stream. It'll let you know how many frames per second you were outputting. It'll let you know if there's any delays and what the causes of that are pretty quickly if you were having bandwidth issues, rendering issues, anything else. But yeah, it'll just let you know if you're dropping frames, if your bandwidth is down. It's really, really helpful resource in case you wanted to use that. But again, there is that also on a smaller level already on the bottom right where you're seeing some of the similar things.
Yeah. And when we say dropping frames, it's like the video's like cutting out and it's like
Mhm.
choppy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty common issue, and lots of different diagnostics can happen pretty quickly using the stats bar to understand what's going on. It just takes a little bit of a learning curve.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Was that everything on the docs?
We can have the Twitch stats. That could
Oh,
be
yes.
important.
Stats.
Yeah,
Okay. So this is just basically, yeah, just some stats here if you want to see like number of followers, number of subs, how many people are viewing like during the stream, things like that. So
yeah.
that's a good
It's
one.
not
I
always
like,
100% accurate, but it is pretty helpful if you were wanting to know.
yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
And like, so I had already set these up so they automatically went into the places that I had put them. But with the docs too, it's customizable. Like you can move this around. So if I wanted to like move this, it's a little like it doesn't
It's a
always
bit
work
wonky.
very well, yeah. But okay, so this is on its own now. So like if I wanted to move it like here, and now it's just like tabbed with the mixer. But I prefer it over here where I had it. I'll just close it for now. But yeah, but the docs, they're kind of customizable as far as like where you can place them too in OBS. So just so you're aware of that. Okay, so let's actually get started setting up now our scenes. So the scenes are basically like you might have multiple scenes within your stream. So for instance, for me with DJing, or if you've seen another DJ's live stream, you might see the beginning before you actually see them. They might have this like, stream is starting soon, like video that's looping or something like that. So that would be put into a scene. And then the actual live stream with the camera and the audio and everything, that's going to be put into a separate scene. So let me show you what that looks like. And then we'll start adding in our sources. So I'm just going to rename this. Oh, wait, so I already named it. Okay, so we've got the starting soon. So let me show you what that looks like. So we've got starting soon as a scene. So now we want to add a source to it. So this is going to be a media source. So I'm going to add my starting soon video. And then I'm just going to browse to, where's my desktop? There it is. Okay, so I've got starting soon. So if you want the video to loop, you want to make sure this loop box is checked off here.
Otherwise, it will play once and then end. And you don't necessarily
Exactly.
want that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I just made this in Canva. Canva's got a lot of really great like resources to make graphics and videos like this for streaming. I did have some custom made tour graphics that I did use in place for these assets, but like, in Canva, then I was able to add in the text on top, add in my socials, things like that. So definitely recommend Canva as a really good resource for creating stuff like that. So we've got the starting soon. So another one that we might want to do is, before we actually get into the DJing stream, is I guess like the end video. Okay, stream ended. So we'll add that one in too. Again, it's a media source.
And what's so cool about OBS is you can set up your scenes and your sources differently. Everybody does it a little bit differently, but it's really customizable. It's very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got that one set up. So then that way it's like, okay, starting. So then let's get the DJ stream set up. So we're gonna add that as a new scene, DJ streaming. And so this one, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our video and our audio. So when we talked about earlier, we have the capture card for the camera, right? So we want to add a capture card device for our video. I'm just going to call this cam link. That's what it's called. Cam link. Okay. Okay, I did have my camera set up and it doesn't seem to be on now.
Yeah, do you want to try looking into properties?
I did, yeah.
Hmm. It might have turned off.
Yeah, hang on. Let me one
Stay
sec.
tuned, friends.
Okay, it's on.
All right.
Let me try this one more time. Oh no,
Video
my
capture device.
video
Okay, there
capture
we go.
device. Okay, so it's actually my bad. It's a video capture device. That's why. All right.
I think
Camera.
with the capture card
There we
device, it'd be
go.
something like if you wanted to connect your Switch or something.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's new.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So just make sure you always look for video capture device.
Video capture device.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
even though
okay,
you
now
do have
you
a
can
capture card.
see my setup, right? There I am. Um, so yeah, so that's how you set up the video. And if you had multiple video, you can add multiple of these. So like say you had different views or you're like another webcam, you wanted to like set up and like, this is all like resizable too. So you can really like customize and add multiple different video views. Okay, so let's add the audio. All right, audio input capture. So audio box. All right, so let me actually just hit play on the controller so you can actually see that the audio box is working. We're not actually gonna hear any of the audio, but you'll be able to see on the audio mixer. So let me just press play. Okay, see how it's we can see we have signal coming through. So this is also something I want to mention is that we don't want this going into the red. We don't want it peaking. It's going to sound distorted if we do that. So just be mindful about the levels here. This seems to be like a good level, just like going a little bit into the yellow, but as long as we're not going into the red. So you can adjust, the trim on the controller. You can adjust the audio box, like the inputs, the volumes there, and then kind of see, like, just play around with it until you can get it to like a good point here in the audio mixer on OBS.
Yeah,
So
and you can also edit it in OBS. So if you need to do something as simple as adjust the gain, which is not always that simple, you can do that in OBS as well. So many different options to customize your audio.
yeah, there's a lot more you could go in depth with audio, but I just want to like just quickly show like, okay, we've added an audio source. This is what it's gonna look like. But yeah, there's a lot of customization there too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now that we've talked about scenes and sources, so just to also just kind of like reiterate real quick. So we've set up our scenes. So now like I'm live streaming, I'm gonna start on starting soon, right? And then when I'm ready to start the DJ part of it, then all I gotta do is click DJ streaming, and then it shows up. And then when my stream is done, then I can just, you know, hit that, and then I would, stop the stream. But I feel like it's just a little bit cleaner to like just be able to have some of this stuff available. And it just like makes things like a little bit more branded and aesthetic and fun for the viewers. Okay, so we want to talk about next was alerts, right,
Mhm.
Helena? Okay.
Yes.
So let me actually go into, so this is a fun thing Helena actually showed me for this workshop that I didn't even know. I'm always learning something new. But profiles and scene collections, you can have multiples of these, meaning this one I made specifically for this workshop, right? So I can show you guys without having to edit over the one that I have set up for my stream. So let's go back to my stream setup so I can show you some other things here. So we'll go to this. No, I don't want to do that right now. And then the scenes. Okay, so you can see it kind of switched over. We have some new settings here. So let's go to, I want to show you alerts. So we'll do in the DJ settings. So alerts. Okay, you'll see also, just to mention the Photoshop thing that Helena was talking about earlier, you want to also, with certain things, especially when you're overlaying graphics and things like that, you have to kind of order them, the way that you want them, like what's going to be on top first, then below that, right? Like layers in Photoshop. So with these alerts, I want them to be on top of everything because I want them to show up. If this was behind my camera, they would not show up at all. So an alert is basically something that you can set up. It's generally in a third-party website that you connect to your Twitch or your YouTube. I use a site called Streamlabs, but the alerts are basically like anytime somebody follows you or subscribes to you or cheers you, or all the different terminology, which we'll get into later. But anytime somebody does that, you can set up these like little alert overlays that pop up. They can even have sound effects, and that way you can also, it's another way to kind of see, like, it might grab my attention while I'm DJing and I might see it on my computer and be like, oh, somebody followed me, and then I can get on the mic and shout them out.
Yeah,
So
it's another way you could showcase your brand or let your viewers interact with your stream, basically.
Yeah, so I'm gonna actually jump over to, actually, Helena, do you want to show what the alert looks like?
Yeah, let's do Twitch follows. It's gonna make a little sound.
Okay, cool. Did you yeah, so you got the little like heart. So this is all customizable in Streamlabs too. So if I just quickly, I'm just gonna quickly jump over to Streamlabs to show you what that looks like. There's a lot, like there's a lot you can do in here,
Yeah.
but it's just to show the alerts. So let me go back to Chrome here. So so
Mhm.
okay, so in Streamlabs, and this is free. They do have some paid stuff, but you have like the Twitch follows where you can set up, and they have like different like images that you can use instead. Like they have a whole gallery of stuff here that you could use, and then you can set like, what the text is gonna say, the duration, the sound that it makes. So this is like follows, subscriptions, bits. And you go into YouTube, you could do this for subscribers, members, all of that stuff. So this is all customizable in here. So yeah, this is definitely something I wouldn't say like it's absolutely necessary, at least like starting out, but it definitely could be a fun one to add in and implement when you're ready. And like I said, Streamlabs, it's free. Like this stuff is free. So you can definitely easily get it set up.
Yeah.
So to add in the alerts, let me go back to OBS.
Yeah, while we recommend Streamlabs for alerts, yeah, we recommend sticking with the free options. You can go with their paid options, but most of the stuff that they offer that's paid is available for free elsewhere, and we do include all those free options in our guide, as well as a tutorial on how to add alerts.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with adding alerts, just quickly go to the properties. So this is going to be like you would add in it's going to be is it the
It's
browser?
a browser source.
Yeah, okay. So to basically be in Streamlabs, they'll be able to provide you, I think there's actually the link directly like above. You just
Hmm.
copy and paste that. You add it as a browser source, and then it creates this alert overlay that you can add in. So that's alerts. And then last thing too, just to show some other like graphics and things you can overlay in here. So like I did a Valentine's stream and I wanted to make it like a little bit more festive for Valentine's. So I got like a little like, I think I just got this off of Etsy, but it's just a little heart border I could put around the stream. Etsy is also a good resource for finding like fun like stream overlays and graphics and things like that.
Yeah,
So
and emotes as well.
yeah, exactly, in the
Hmm.
emotes. So this was just me adding a image in, and then that was it. So very simple. So that's the overlays. Is that everything that we wanted to cover for OBS, Helena?
I believe so. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's go back. Um, Actually, I'm probably gonna jump back into in a
Yeah, we
second.
can jump back if we need to.
Okay. Okay, so we went through setup. Okay, so we want to also talk about testing your stream. So actually, I'm gonna jump back into OBS, guys. But before you go live, just I think just anybody would want to kind of test things out beforehand, right? Just to make sure everything's working correctly. So if you want to test it out in Twitch, let me share what that's gonna look like. Back to OBS. So, and back to FemHouse. Okay, so for this, you can go to those settings again, and then where you had stream or we, added the platform that we wanted, you want to have enable bandwidth test mode checked. And this is going to allow you to test your stream. So if I say okay,
And this
and
is for Twitch specifically, right?
yeah, this is Twitch specifically. I'm going to talk about YouTube here in a second. So for that, then if I just start streaming, it'll pop up, will say you've configured it in bandwidth test mode. So then we know, okay, we're not gonna like actually go live. We're just gonna test it out. So you hit yes. And then now we can see we have some data points here that we know, okay, we're live, we're not dropping frames, everything's looking good, right? And you can kind of play around with the scenes and all of that, and like test out your audio, all of that stuff. So that's how you would test it on Twitch. Now for YouTube, let's go back here. So YouTube, you would hit manage broadcast. And so this is actually something I want to go through too, just with testing and going live on YouTube and scheduling. So for this one, if I wanted to do a test stream on YouTube, where they have this privacy drop down here, it's defaulted to public, but what I want to do is actually do an unlisted stream. So that way, and then I would hit schedule and select broadcast. Then I would be streaming to YouTube, but it's not actually going to be available to any of my followers. It's not going to be a video publicly available. I will be able to grab a link and I could share it with, say, Helena, so I can have her like watch it and kind of see how things are looking and test things from there. But that's how you do a test stream with YouTube. Now for YouTube, actually going live, what I like to do is I actually like to schedule my live streams. So that way they actually pop up on my YouTube channel, excuse me, on my YouTube channel as like, a live stream is coming. It notifies people, the followers of my stream. They'll see that pops up. They can turn on notifications for the stream. So for that, and let me kind of go through all of this too for YouTube, because it's a little bit different than Twitch. So we'll have the title, which is like the title of the video, right? Then you'll have the description, which we talked a little bit about earlier, where I have the stream, schedule, track list, all that information I wanted in the description of the video. Then I want it to be public when I schedule my stream. Categories, music. No, it's not made for kids. Not that a kid couldn't watch it, but basically YouTube just wants anything that isn't like specifically for children. You just select no, it's not for kids. Then you can also put your video thumbnail here. Again, a graphic I made in Canva. And then the main thing here for scheduling is you want to make sure this schedule for later button is checked. And then you can put in the date that you want to schedule it for and the time. And then you just hit schedule broadcast. So I don't remember what date is next Wednesday, actually. I was going to schedule for my next one.
The 21st.
21st, thank you. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's schedule the next one. All right, so schedule broadcast. Oh, okay. I want to actually update this because this was from a couple Bexxie live stream. I just did 50, so this will be 51. So let's hit schedule broadcast. Everything else looks good. Okay, creating a new live broadcast. Event created successfully. Awesome. So then now when I am ready to stream next Wednesday at 3 p.m., I'll go to manage broadcast. I'll go to this tab up top, select existing broadcast. And now I see this one, I can click it and I can hit select broadcast and start streaming. So that's how you would schedule it out. Or, you can literally just start a stream whenever you want. But if you have a consistent schedule, then this is a good way to do it for YouTube. Okay, so let's go back to the slides. Okay. All right, so we talked about testing, we talked about going live, scheduling stream. I do have some screenshots in here because we're going to provide you the slides later as well, so you'll have that available to you. And then, all right, so next section, building your community. So this is a big one. I feel like live streaming, that's a big part of it is the community aspect to it, right? That's what I love about live streaming is being able to like having the people in the chat and you're interacting and it's just a really cool part of live streaming that is unique to DJing than versus like DJing a show where you can't exactly have that interaction while you're performing. I mean, you can get on the mic and stuff, but this is like a little bit of a different interaction. So yeah, so we want to talk a little bit about building your community. All right, so engaging with your audience. So definitely like it's important to engage with your audience during your streams, interacting with them, getting on the mic or getting in the chat, thanking your viewers for supporting the stream, chatting with them, having a little bit of a banter, all that stuff. Definitely interacting with them. I think it's a big part of live streaming. Helena, anything to add on that piece? I know you do like a lot of different types of streaming, and I'm sure you have like conversations with people.
Yeah. Yeah, depending on the kind of stream that you do, you can interact with chat as they're chatting with you, but typically in the DJ atmosphere, you don't have to interrupt your flow. You can respond when you would like to.
Yeah,
Um, and then also there's also the option that you can respond in the chat. So while you're performing, if you're not feeling like you're up for talking, you can respond in the chat. As long as there's some interaction, you should be good to go.
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
there's tons of different ways you can interact with your chat, other than just speaking with them, but you can speak with them in the mic, and they do love it when you do that. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Like giving people shout outs and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
give people shout outs always. Always
Yeah,
give people shout outs.
yeah,
People love it.
yeah. And then, so a Twitch specific thing that we definitely recommend that you do, which is called rating, which is basically when you're done with your live stream, you can then what they call raid into another person's live stream, which, and again, this is just Twitch only, but basically anybody that's viewing your stream, you'll take those viewers and yourself and move it into somebody else's live streams. So kind of like keeps the party going.
Yeah.
And this is also just a great way to, when you do a raid, usually, that person's stream that you're raiding into, they're like giving you a shout out. They usually like, oh wow, thank you. Like follow that person back. Like let them know about your stream schedule. And so you can get like some followers out of it too. And it's just a great reciprocal thing, like all around, like you're sharing your audience and then they're sharing their audience back.
Yeah, and you can make some really awesome streamer friends that way. This is one of my favorite aspects of Twitch. Not only do like you get to meet new people, they get to meet you, and there's just this open and welcoming environment in raiding and in that community. And it is kind of like a well-known unspoken rule. Like when you're done with your stream, you share your community. We all hate when the party's over, right? So like we don't want the party to be over. We want to
Yeah.
raid out. So that's what pretty much every streamer does, including outside of the DJ community.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Some other things that you can do, doing giveaways. So like when I first started doing my live stream, like on a consistent basis, is on a weekly basis. The first month I did a giveaway every week for that first month of streaming to kind of get, first of all, just like getting, drawing some attention into the live stream, getting people to join in. People really appreciated the giveaways. So that's a lot of fun. I do them sometimes. I just did like a 1 year anniversary stream. So I just did a giveaway for that just to kind of show my appreciation to the viewers. But yeah, so like anytime or if you have like a new track out or something, you want to do a giveaway for that. That could just be like a fun way again to interact with your audience and build that community. Also hosting celebrations or themed streams. Like I said, just did a 1 year anniversary stream, did like a Valentine's stream. I did like my birthday stream last year. Things like that. Just like a fun way. I think just people love to just kind of celebrate these things with you. So always have fun doing those ones. All right. So moderation. So this is important too for the safety of your stream. So with Twitch and YouTube, there is some auto moderation tools already built in. So you'll definitely want to make sure you are utilizing those. And then we have a couple recommended bots for stream safety. I'll let Helena talk a little bit about those.
Yeah, so we mentioned a little bit about, I believe we mentioned a little bit about bots, but in case we didn't, Nightbot and other kinds of bots like Nightbot, they are made to moderate streams on top of what YouTube and Twitch and other platforms have to offer. It'll protect like people, bots from sending links. You can also use it to respond back if somebody types something specific in the chat and use it as an interaction tool. It's actually really cool. You could do a ton of different things with Nightbot and other bots just like Nightbot. I believe Streamlabs has an equivalent that's available for free currently. So if you don't want to go with Nightbot, you go with Streamlabs. But yeah, it's a basic moderation tool. It doesn't do too much. So that's why I also recommend Seribot. This one's a new one that's involved and was created by a streamer actually who faced a lot of trouble with a lot of follow bots. Those actually interact with or impact your engagement and all around everything quite a lot. So some people just do not want to have to deal with a bunch of rating bots that are, following or hopping in your chat saying mean things. It does happen, but basically the creation of Seribot offers to automatically protect you from links, follow bots, and it bans them for you. So you don't even have to think about it. All you have to do is use the link that we provide in the guide that we are going to be sharing with you guys. And there's a little tutorial, and even on their Twitch channel, they have an entire instruction manual. It's very simple to set up. And you can also put your chat on shield mode while you're gone, so it could protect your chat from any people chatting any links while you're out, which that can be a thing. There's a bunch of really cool tools that Seribot offers.
Yeah, yeah, you might have noticed in my OBS, at the chat doc, it had the shield mode on, which is part of that. So
Hmm.
yeah, that fits
Yeah.
there.
Oh, I almost forgot the timers, the link timers. So if you
Oh
want to
yeah,
share your merch, if you want to share your Discord link, anything like that, you can use something like Nightbot to program after a certain amount of chats happen during a certain amount of time period. You can have it automatically post something in the chat for you. It could be anything, but a lot of people use it for links if they want to promote themselves. And that's a really great opportunity to do that. I would say recommend not using too many to flood into your chat. Just kind of figure it out as you go. It's a little give and take, a little bit of learning curve.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Like the
Yeah.
interval timing of like popping in those links, you know.
Hmm.
So we use Nightbot for Twitch, but then I think we use Streamlabs for YouTube. I think Streamlabs does both YouTube and Twitch for those timers they call them.
Hmm.
But you might notice if you're on a live stream, you might see like a little bot in the chat leaves like a link that says something like, oh, check out Bexxie's upcoming shows, and there'd be like a link to my bands in town, like stuff like that. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about the timers. So
Yeah, and then I mean that's some really cool things that both of these bots have to offer, but ultimately what they're there for is if you don't have a person to mod your channel, especially when you're starting out, you can use these tools and it will mostly cover you and it will mostly ban those people. Of course, there are trolls, and I have personally faced a lot of trolls, and sometimes you need that extra person to make sure that they're safe, because people are not very nice and like that's just how it is. It's the reality of the internet.
yeah.
So we highly recommend finding somebody that you really 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 trust, not somebody that's even a VIP in your or a regular in your streams, somebody you actually really trust, to make sure that you're safe in case you do get those occasional trolls. um, but yeah, basically you just click on their username. If you don't have that person, do your best to ignore. It's nothing personal. You kind of
Yeah.
gotta
It's just
give
part
it
of
a little
the
bit.
process. It's
Yeah, it's
these
part of the process. It's yeah, it's we could go in a whole conversation
yeah.
about about trolls and all sorts of stuff like
Yeah.
that. But
But
general
yeah.
thing, click on their username, you can ban them really, really quickly as a streamer and then as a mod. It's pretty simple. They made it really easy. They made it very stress-free.
Yeah.
And then Nightbot and Seribot help you out. Even if you do have a person, you can make sure that you're extra safe.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, so if you're able to have a moderator, someone from your team, like Helena's my moderator for my streams, a friend or like a trusted community member, it can be just an extra like layer to kind of just help. Because like, yeah, you can do some of this stuff when you're streaming yourself, you know, you're able to like she said, you can kind of right click on somebody and like just remove them or whatever. But if you're just kind of in your zone, it could be hard to kind of just keep track of all that's what's going on in your
yeah.
chats. So not only protects you, but also your viewers too, you know, your
Hmm.
community. So having those tools available, definitely recommend setting those up. Okay. So promoting your stream. So obviously, you know, when you start your stream, you'll want to get the word out about promoting it. So social media, of course, is a big one as DJs and artists. So definitely, you know, posting on socials. Like I made a graphic specifically for my live stream that had the stream schedule in it. And then I use that as like my announcement post and post it across my socials. And then every week now, you know, when I have the stream scheduled and everything, I'll share it in my stories, I'll add the link, I'll add a little countdown. So yeah, so just make sure you're promoting your stream, you know, and like don't feel like you have to like, oh, you post it one time and that's it. Like post a few times. Like people don't always pay attention to these things. So you can always
Yeah.
post multiple times. You can also promote in other people's discords if you use discords, which is like an online like chat like channels, you know, all that stuff. Just be mindful not to spam in people's discords, you know, just follow their promotion, you know, rules that they have set up. Or if you have your own discord or you create your own discord, you can definitely promote your stream in there. Discord and Twitch are kind of like a big like they work well together, you know,
They
like
really do.
streaming in Discord. So like when you start streaming, you know, talking about building your community, Discord can be a big part of that too, of creating a Discord that you can then, you know, use those bots that send the links in the chat to invite them to your Discord. And then, you know, your viewers can go to your Discord and you can build up your community that way too.
Yeah, it's a really cool way to interact with your viewers in another way. And Discord itself could be an entire other workshop,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
It's really cool, but it's also it can also be really complex.
Yeah, there's definitely some setup there for sure. So
Yeah.
obviously we're not gonna go too in depth there, but just wanted to mention that as well.
Yeah, and then as far as like promoting stream goes, I do have one more thing.
Oh
I
yeah.
recommend being consistent with your schedule. You will build viewers if you are on stream at the same time every week. This is something that I'm working on myself. So, definitely if you want to like build your channel and keep growing, and promote, it's going to be a lot easier when people know when you're going live. And if you're consistent, that really helps. But that was the
Yeah.
last little thing that I wanted to add
No,
in there.
that's a big one for sure. Like once you commit to a schedule, like really try to follow that schedule. There has been maybe like a couple times where I've had to either not stream that week, or if I couldn't do it on that day, I will try to do it on a different day of the week. And if that happens, I will let my users know like as far in advance as possible. So like if I know in advance, I'll let them know in the previous stream, like, hey, next stream, I'm sorry guys, I'm not gonna be able to stream on the Wednesday as normal, but I'm gonna stream on Friday, things like that. Or like, you know, like one time I was just like really sick and I just couldn't stream that day, like things like that. It happens and your community will understand, but
Hmm.
as long as you're just not like always doing that,
Yeah.
you're trying to stick to your schedule and just letting them know like in advance as much as possible that you're not going to be streaming that week or you might have to rearrange the schedule that week. So yeah, that's a big one.
Hmm.
Okay, so monetizing your streaming platforms. So let's talk a little bit about this. Okay, so Twitch. Twitch has various monetization levels where you have to meet certain criteria to reach. So the first one is affiliate. You have to have at least 50 followers, and then you have to stream for 8 hours on 7 different days. Um, and reach an average of 3 viewers. So that's not 8 hours not 8 hours every 7 days, but like a total of 8 hours on 7 different days, just to clarify.
Yeah. Within the
And
30-day time frame.
within the 30-day time frame.
Yeah.
And then they've introduced this new one, Affiliate Plus, which is basically like a halfway point between affiliate and partner. They don't really have any specific criteria for that, other than like you can see on your Twitch, like you can look in your Twitch and see like they'll kind of give you some like let you know if how much you're getting towards that affiliate plus, but they don't really have any like specifics like the affiliate and the partner do. Um,
Yeah. The concept in general, sorry.
oh
The
no, go ahead.
concept in general is it is the halfway point, but it also wants to reward you in case you have like a regular amount of subs that continuously subscribe to your community, but you don't quite meet the criteria for partner. And you basically just you earn a little bit more of that profit margin. So split they split the earnings a little bit differently, so you get a little bit more money without charging your viewers more and such. So,
Yeah, so each of the
mhm.
levels they're gonna give you once you reach the higher levels, they're gonna give you a little bit more of the revenue. We'll talk about that in a second here. And then their highest level is partner, which you have to stream for 25 hours, a total of 25 hours on 12 different days and an average of 75 viewers. They also mentioned this is excluding views from suggested rates and embed. So this has to just be like your organic concurrent viewership. And this is all within a 30-day time frame.
Yeah,
Um,
and then the final step with partner is that you have to submit an application and you will be put under review. And under that review period, they will see if all of these criteria are met. It's a lot harder to reach partner than it is to affiliate. Affiliate, it can be really easily if you really, really easy if you strategize it correctly. Partner, it's going to take a lot more time. And a lot of people end up not even applying to partner just because, they just rather focus on the enjoyment of the streaming process, and you can still earn money through affiliate. It's just different project profit margins and different things that you weigh out based on what you want to do.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then how you actually monetize on Twitch once you do reach affiliate or one of the other levels, they have things called like subs. So somebody would subscribe to your channel, which means that they would no longer see ads on your channel, and then they'd also have access to emotes. There's also bits, which is like Twitch's currency. So for an example, 200 bits equals $2. You'll get a little portion of ad revenue. So they will place ads throughout your live stream, and you can actually set like how often those ads are going to show up. So that's something to also kind of like figure out like how often you want the ads. It's like you don't want it too much, but like also enough so that you can encourage people to then maybe sub to your channel so that they don't see ads. And then sound alerts. So this is something that may not be so much that you'd use for like a DJ stream because there's already a lot of music going on, but people can do things like you can have a sound setup where I guess if they pay, they can actually like play like a sound.
Yeah, it's pretty
So,
cool.
yeah. Yeah. So I also want to mention the emotes thing. So this is something I highly encourage like having once you do reach affiliate, because you'll have access to have your own emotes that you can provide. And emotes are like, as you can see here, they're like emojis and like custom little like icons and stuff that people can use in the chat. So once you reach affiliate, you'll have access to be able to have emotes for your channel, and you can provide like a few free, and then the rest will be locked unless they subscribe. And a subscriber can have access to all of the emotes. And Helena, she designed all my emotes, so it's like it's awesome. I love them so much. She did an amazing job there.
Thank you.
But yeah, I want to mention the emotes because they're a good way also to encourage people to sub to your Twitch channel.
And Twitch viewers love emotes. They
They
love
do.
it. They love
Yeah.
it. That's all it takes for some people to sub. They just want the emotes.
They want access to the emotes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
they'll collect hundreds.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
it's like it's a whole thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, it totally works. You have cute emotes or have funny ones. I know some people that have some pretty
Yeah.
hilarious ones and
Yeah, I
it'll
have
get
ones
people
that
to
are
sub.
like part of like some that are like inside jokes with like
Hmm.
them and their viewers and stuff too, or like some that are just like part of your personality. Like
Hmm.
I have we have a little animated one of my dog Jack here.
Hmm.
So like things like that you can add in. And like if you don't have access to somebody like being able to create custom ones for you, Etsy is another great resource. I mentioned them earlier, but they're a great resource for emotes where they just have like, different types of emotes. So you can use those. And they might even have artists that actually create like custom ones for you on there too. So
Yeah.
all right, so that's Twitch. So YouTube, I feel like YouTube's a little bit, it takes a little bit longer to get to that first level. But the first level you have to have 500 subscribers, 3 public uploads in the last 90 days, and then either 3,000 watch hours on your long form videos, which is gonna be your live streams, or 3 million shorts views. And with level one, once you reach level one, it's going to unlock channel memberships, which is it's similar to like a Twitch sub. So they'll have access to things like if you have emotes, so you'll be able to provide them emotes. They'll get badges. So like the different levels of your members, you can have different levels of badges. And then you can also provide your members exclusive content like members only videos. You'll also have things like super chats, super stickers, and super thanks. So these are things like the super chat allows a user to highlight their message in the chat. So you'll be able to see it. So they have to pay like a little money for that. Super stickers is also like a little fun virtual sticker that they can use in the chat. Also like pay a little bit of money for that. And then super thanks are like basically your viewers can give you a super thanks, which is like showing their gratitude for for your content, for your live stream. And, that can vary again for how much they can provide to you for that, like the amount of money that it is. The other thing too, it unlocks shopping, which is you might notice on some YouTube channels, you'll see like underneath the video, there's like their merch or their products, things like that. It allows you access to be able to promote your products and merch on your videos, like underneath the video. So level two for YouTube partner, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and then either 4,000 watch hours or 10 million shorts views. So when you get to level two, you'll have everything from level one, but then this is where you get like their ad revenue share. So you get like a percentage of the ad revenue. And then you'll also get a percentage of YouTube Premium. So if somebody is a YouTube Premium member, they're watching your stream, you'll get a little portion of that as well. So lastly, TikTok. So with TikTok, you need to have at least 1,000 followers to even live stream. But then once you reach that and you're able to live stream, then you automatically have access to their monetization. And their monetization comes in the form of what they call live gifts, which the audience can buy in exchange for diamonds, which is diamonds equivalent of or which is TikTok's equivalent of their currency, which is like Twitch's bits, right? So you can get diamonds, or they also have a subscription. So same thing, you can give your audience badges, custom emotes, and access to exclusive content. Okay, so we've covered everything we wanted to talk about, and now let's open it up to questions.
Yeah, so I'm going to be running Q&A. If anybody has any additional questions, feel free to ask them. We will cover them in the rest of this seminar.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the word. But yeah, the
Yeah, just
first
please put them
one.
in the Q&A box.
Yeah. And then we can drop the link in the chat for the free guide right now. Let me know if you guys can't see it. If not, Bexy, I can send it to you. Make sure
Okay,
you have it and you can pop it open. It's a pretty simple link too that you guys can copy and paste. Can you see that, Bexy?
I can see it, yes.
Okay, it says for hosts and panelists, so I'm not sure if everybody can see that. Um, So let's just make sure that that link is popped up for everybody to see. But the first question is from DJ Chillmonger. How did Bexy find Helena as a moderator? And what do moderators do other than removing inappropriate comments from the audience? So I think we answered half of that question, did we?
Well, yeah, so
Hmm.
how did I find Helena? So Helena is actually on my team. So she works with Glass Mainframe Management. And so she's part of my management team. And so when we first started talking about me doing a weekly live stream, it just was like a no-brainer for Helena because she's already had a lot of experience with live streaming. It's just a no-brainer to have her help out, help me get everything set up, and then also do the moderation. So yeah. And then the second piece of that question was,
What do moderators do other than removing inappropriate comments from the audience?
oh, okay. Helena, did you want to answer this one?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much we just make sure that it is pretty much just removing inappropriate comments because we don't really have much interaction with viewers other than through the chat. We could just make sure that there's no technical issues as well. So we let everybody know if there's a technical issue happening. Sometimes they help Bexy figure out who to raid if we don't have any regulars that are live, just basic things like that. And sometimes we interact with chat ourselves. Sometimes we make sure that the links that we want to publish are posted, are pinned. Depends on what the moderator wants to do or what you guys discuss that you want to do. So yeah, I hope that answered your question pretty well. But that's pretty much what we do as a moderator.
Yeah, that's what Helena is like. Like the other day, we had turned on some new setting in YouTube to prevent like what was it called? Zalgo or something? Some
Yeah,
sort of
Zalgo
like
text.
some sort
Yeah.
of text that a lot of like spam bots use, and we had turned it on for the first time. And then one of my regulars, like it was like they just kept popping up as saying that it was blocking them because they were using Zalgo, which I knew that they weren't because they're my regulars. And so I like quickly was like, Helena, can you help with this? So it's like stuff like that. So like not only just like moderating, like bots or like mean trolls or things like that, but like sometimes technical difficulties or like we had some setting that we needed to, oh no, we need to like turn this off now because it's obviously like blocking people from actually chatting. So yeah, various things like that.
Yeah. And can I share my screen really quick? I have our free guide link popped up.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Unless you want to pull it up from the chat that we have
Oh
here.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure if people in the chat got access to it, but
Yeah,
you're
it looks like they
me.
can't. So let's make it
Oh,
accessible via
okay.
the
All right.
screen.
So
Yeah, screen share.
give me 1 second. So, all right.
Here we go. And then it's hypedit.com/ live streaming as a DJ / free guide.
Yeah, I'll just leave that up there for now so y'all can write it down. So yeah, so you'll have access to that.
Yeah, I want to make sure you guys have access
Yeah,
to
for
all the
sure.
resources, and that's going to include the live stream guide that we've been talking about, this slide presentation, and then as well as a template to OBS. So that way, all you have to do is plug in your assets. Everything else is pretty much set for you.
Yep.
Yeah. So are you
Any
ready to
more
move on to the next
questions?
question?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you actually give away for the giveaways?
Oh, okay. So, I've done where I've given away merch. I've given away like guest list spots, tickets to shows. I've given away like one-on-one time with myself. Trying to think. I feel like there was something else and I'm forgetting. Um,
Tickets?
I said that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you covered
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I think that covers most of it. Yeah, it's like most like merch and like tickets to shows or but I think you can
Yeah.
get creative with it. So like even if you don't like maybe you don't have merch to give away or something like that, you know, maybe you can give away yeah, like just some one-on-one time, like get on a call with them or maybe like a gift card or something like that, you know. You could definitely do like something creative for sure.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can do that, but yeah, reminder just to stay safe. Don't do anything that you're not comfortable with.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right, cool. We're moving on to the next question. If you are a partner with Twitch, how long did it take to become?
Oh, sorry, say that one more time.
If you are a partner with Twitch, how long did it take to become?
Oh, okay. So I'm not partner status on Twitch yet. I did have reached affiliate status, which is the first level. So I think it didn't take too long. I think it took me about a month. However, I want to caveat that with I had done some streaming during the pandemic. So I did like I reached that follower count through there. So I had that like over 50 followers. That was the requirement. I had that already set. And so when I did start streaming on Twitch again this past year, I had that available. And then so from there, then I just worked on getting that like the amount of days I had to do in a month and the amount of hours that I had to do in a month. And I had the minimum viewers that you average viewers. So yeah, it was just like basically within that 30 days. But Helena, I want you to talk about this because you had an interesting story about getting affiliate on one of your
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah. So I've been streaming with Glass Factory since about 2021, and then I decided that I wanted to split apart and like make sure the Glass Factory stuff was focused on music and stuff, and then I wanted to be able to craft and play very specific niche video games, and then do photography stuff that was like I said, very niche. So I just decided as an experiment, I was going to start my own channel. And I managed to monetize it in within the 7-day period.
Crazy.
So I I don't know. Long story short, you can do it with a little strategizing. And it can be very easy, especially if you promote yourself correctly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
we
see,
neither of us are partner, but we
yeah.
both know how to become affiliate.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So the next question, this is going to be from Kimber. Hi, this is great. Loved it and learned a lot. A few questions. What is the controller that you're using again, Bexie?
Oh, okay. I'm using the Pioneer XDJ XZ, which we've linked in the guide, so you'll have access to all of that.
Yeah, and then you guys should have access to it through the screen share, and then a couple of people have done us the favor of pasting it in the Q&A, so you can take a look
Awesome.
and click on that as
Yeah.
well.
Thank you guys.
All right, cool. Next question from Kimber. When streaming, can you choose multiple media at one time, e.g. YouTube and Twitch, so that you can stream once on multiple channels and media?
Yes. So I do multiple streaming. We didn't want to go too in depth with this because that is a little bit more. like I said, I wouldn't, if you're just starting out streaming, I wouldn't suggest multi-streaming to start with because just each platform has their own things, and like just trying to get used to the whole just streaming in general, right? But you can absolutely multi-stream for sure. So within OBS, I think what did we do? It was like some sort of like plugin that we had to download that I was able
Hmm.
to then multi-stream because I don't think multi-streaming was a thing people were doing too much before because Twitch actually wasn't allowing it for a while, right?
Yeah.
And then they've recently like within I guess that last year or whatever, they're letting you now multi-stream. You just can't say, I think they don't want you to like say things about other platforms when you're streaming on them
Yeah,
though.
if you're streaming on Twitch and YouTube, for example, you got to prioritize Twitch. That's what's in their terms of service. So just make sure stream or both chats and going, "Hey, Twitch," and just emphasizing it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Um, you don't really have to. They haven't really enforced it. But another thing that I would recommend and reason why not to start with multi-streaming is that you already have to get used to interacting with one chat. Imagine having to do it on multiple
Yeah.
platforms, on multiple windows. And then yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of information to take in when you're just getting started. But once you get a feel for it, it's a lot easier, but it can be pretty overwhelming at times, especially when all of them are pinging you at all at once.
Yeah.
And it is a bit of a rush. So you
Yeah.
can get used to it. But yeah, we don't recommend doing that as a start. So that's also why we haven't showed you how to do it quite yet.
Yeah.
And there's not really like a set one way to do multi-streaming because again, it's not really something that a lot of people do yet.
Yeah, yeah. So for me personally, I started on YouTube first. So my
Hmm.
OBS was actually set up for YouTube first. And then what we did was there was this plugin. It was a free plugin that we downloaded. There was a tutorial like we went through. Helena helped me get this set up where I can then add in Twitch. But we did kind of have to like, really customize things. I have these like
Yeah.
custom docs in there and all this stuff so that I can have I have like my YouTube chat in one tab and my Twitch chat in another tab. We were trying to figure out a way to do like both chats in like one tab, and I don't think there's any like good way to do
There's no
that
real way to do
currently.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of have to like flip between both and kind of keep an eye on things that way. And like Helena said, it can be a little overwhelming. So definitely don't suggest that when you're just starting, when you're just getting your bearings. But yeah, I started on YouTube first, and then maybe like a few months later, added Twitch. And then I like maybe a few months after that started adding TikTok, which I basically just do on my phone with the iRig, and then I just kind of set that up in the corner. So that's doing its thing in the corner. So that's all. So it's like there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that there was anything else I was going to add, but I'll let you guys know if I think of anything else regarding this previous question because I feel like there can be a lot of different answers for that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And then I'm gonna leave the links that are in the Q&A in the Q&A if you guys ever want to click on it, save it, do what you need to do. But yeah, next question is from Jill Stanley. If you had to pick one platform to start, would you choose Twitch or YouTube? I'm gonna have you answer first because I think we both have different answers for this.
Well, that's a good question
Yeah.
because so like I said, I started with YouTube, and my reason for that, I think at first was because of I felt like the discoverability of YouTube, just like having like it's a search engine, right? Where Twitch isn't technically like a search engine, but YouTube, like there is an aspect to it where like people could just come across you, right? And I know that can happen in Twitch too, but I feel like if somebody's like searching for a specific thing in YouTube, they could potentially like come across your channel and your stream, right?
Hmm.
But now with the Twitch DJ program and all of that, and I'm just finding like YouTube sometimes like I said, is a lot stricter with like the copyright stuff sometimes. I'd almost say like start with Twitch to begin with because I feel like you're gonna have less issues with what you're gonna be able to play. I think there's a little bit more freedom there. But yeah, I feel like there's pros and cons to both. So I'm
Definitely.
like,
Definitely.
I started with YouTube, but I think if I was maybe starting from like just starting completely like it was a new thing, I think I would actually start with Twitch.
Yeah, I think the benefit though of you starting with YouTube is you were able to monetize your YouTube pretty quickly with that.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and you have a really interactive chat as well. And I haven't seen that too much with YouTube Live, at least like with a channel like as early on as yours was, whenever you had a bunch of people interacting. I was super excited. So, yeah, it's really cool. You could go with either one. You can't really go too wrong. I would personally say Twitch, but that's just because that's where I started and I'm biased. So,
Yeah, I like I said, my answer, I feel like it's kind of just dependent on one, are you starting completely from scratch? Do you have like an existing audience at all on either?
mm,
You already have a YouTube channel, maybe, if you do, maybe you could start there. And like Helena said, like for me, I think because I already kind of had like a little bit of a YouTube channel, just like it was an artist account, right? And I had a lot of my music on there. I started doing like uploading some vlogs, like stuff like that. So when I started doing the live stream, I think I already had like some people following. So I kind of already like initially had people joining. So yeah, but I think if I was like just starting completely from scratch or like just yeah, I would say probably Twitch might be easier.
mm, okay, cool. All right, so next question. It would be oh, okay, it would be great if we could get the name of the free graphics website spelled or typed out. Not sure I'm hearing it correctly.
Oh, okay. Oh, hang on. Hang on 1 second. Okay. Canva. That's what it is.
Yeah. And you can even search in the search bar, Twitch streaming resources or something like that, and
Yeah.
you'll be able to find a bunch of templates. There you go.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Tons of stuff, tons of opportunities, and tons of customization tools. Cool. All right, let me move on to the next question. Oh, that looks like that's it. Does anybody have
Okay.
any more questions?
Those are all really great
Yeah,
questions.
those were all really good questions. Let me make sure that we can answer if can't answer anymore. Like any further. Nope, looks pretty good. Cool.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
yeah, Jill, we got another question from Jill.
Okay.
And as you both seem like you really enjoy live streaming, what is your favorite part? That's a good question.
Yeah, I think for me, it's the community part of it.
Mm,
Like I could be having like a not so great day, or like just an off day, and I'll have my live stream and just like having my community there to like interact with and chat with. It just always makes my day better. So
yeah.
I just love yeah, I love the community part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanna backpack off of that. Well said. Community is like it's so unique. It's so unique and it's a different way for you to get to know your viewers and get to know your audience. It's kind of indescribable in that way. It's very in how unique it is, other than like you're physically seeing it, you're creating music together, you're doing that kind of a thing, where you're like I said, building a community and interacting with one another in a way that was like really cool when we can gather around, but now it's still gaining traction. It's still really cool. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and for me, it's like like doing like a DJ live stream. It's like being able to share music and just connecting with people through music because that's just a big part of why I do what I do with any of the DJing and producing and all of that stuff. So the live stream is like a great way for me to connect with people in that way.
Yeah. Cool. Well, next question. Any tips on stage presence when you start? It seems so much harder than a live set.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that just comes with practice. It might feel awkward at first, like I would say maybe just like in your if you are like planning to get on the mic or whatever, I would say just maybe like just think of some things in advance that you like how you want to say it, maybe like practice it a little bit. Um, but like I'll have my kind of like regular things that I kind of say throughout the stream, or like if I know there's something that I want to promote that stream, like I make sure like beforehand I'm like, okay, don't forget to like mention these shows, mention this track's coming out, like stuff like that. So yeah, just if you want, just like have some things in mind beforehand that you want to mention. And then just have fun with it. So just like
Yeah.
feel the music and have fun with it.
Yeah, and I mean, just it can be a little bit weird speaking or dancing to like all by
Yeah,
yourself in a room, and it does
yeah,
take a little bit of getting used to, but once you start doing it, it will feel a little bit like this call. Like you are talking with people and you are interacting with people. It is a little bit strange to get used to, but once you're used to it, it's like having a normal conversation with people. It's like being in a room. Well, I can't necessarily speak for being on stage, but yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's a little different. I remember when I first started live streaming, it was like totally different than, like playing at a show or whatever. But I feel like there was like some aspects to it. I was like, oh, well, I can't just like chat with people while I perform. So this is kind of cool. Like we could just like hang out on a Friday night and like, listen to music together, like I just thought it was really cool and like a different aspect to
Yeah.
DJing.
Yeah, that's really cool. Cool. Roberta asked, do you find that you have more people popping into your live stream at the different times of the day versus night streaming?
Oh, that's a good question because I
Mm-hmm.
I typically stream like on a Wednesday afternoon, and I picked that time. Well, one for me, like that day works best for me because a lot of weekends I'm traveling. But so I want to do something kind of in the middle of the week. But I also picked like afternoons. I felt like it covered quite a lot of different time zones, because you've people that are like tuning in from all over the place, all over the world.
Yeah.
So for me, like it was important to try to like cover as a lot of time zones, as possible. So as far as like if it was like an evening, like I couldn't say for sure because I don't typically stream on an evening, but maybe just kind of like just pick a day that works for your schedule. First off, it's your stream. Um, so pick a day, a time, and like see how it goes. If you can, in Twitch, I think might be a good one for this, where you can kind of like try different days and times and test things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And see how that goes. Like maybe you have a set schedule, but then maybe you just do like a random pop-up live stream every now and again, and you can kind of like test things out and see what works best for you.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with all your answers, but I also noticed that as somebody that has tried different times of the day, it mattered a lot less what time of the day and what day of the week I've streamed on. It mattered more on when all my other streaming friends were also live. You can time it a little bit, so that they're not watching somebody else's stream, they're watching your stream as well, or they're about to get off, they can go to yours next. That's a little bit more around that time, but don't base it too much off of when everybody else is streaming. Just keep it in mind, keep it as like a, oh, that might help me. But what really, really, truly helps, again, I mentioned this earlier, is once you pick a schedule, stick with it, people will show up. Doesn't matter what time of the day.
Yep,
It's more about what's going to be to your schedule and the consistency behind it. So yeah.
100%. Yep.
Hmm. Cool. Any further questions, guys? We'll leave it a couple more minutes, but were there any other comments that you had to say, Bexy?
No, I mean, I think we covered a lot, and these have
We
been
did.
really, really great questions. I think everybody's got the link to the guide, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so I'll just go back to the slides and resources. We were going to talk about the guide here, which we've covered. So But yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us. It's been really cool to be able to share our experience with live streaming and to hopefully be able to help others, like, figure out all the gear setup and, all of that stuff. And so you can start your live streaming journey too.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll find the guide helpful and the slides that we provided helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got one more question from DJ Chillmonger. Did your live stream experience get affected on your live DJ shows other than streaming in clubs in some way?
Did they get affected?
Like maybe more people show up?
Oh, like does my live stream have an impact on people coming to the
Yeah,
shows?
I think that's it. And DJ Chillmonger, if you have any other way you want to reword it, if we got that incorrectly, please let us know.
Yeah, please let us know. Well, I'll answer it if that was the question. Yeah, I mean, it's been really cool because I've actually met some of the people that come like regularly. They come out to the shows too, which has been cool. So it's
Mhm.
like it does help like, building up like a fan base too. These people, they hang out with you on a regular basis during the stream, you feel like family. It's like so cool.
Yeah,
Like
it is really cool.
they come up at a show and they're like, I'm such and such from your stream. And I'm like, oh my God, like that's so cool. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
I
So
was reading in your chat too. Some people are gonna do like a little group meetup for one of your shows coming up too. It's gonna
oh,
be so
Lord.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
like that's to me, that's like what it's all about. Just like again,
Yeah.
building that community, like because that's what I love about the chat is like, okay, maybe like I'm like the reason that they're there to listen to music, but they're all like interacting with each other and they're all chatting
Yeah.
with each other, and it's like they're making like friendships out of it. It's not about me. Like it's so cool. Like
Yeah,
I
the
love,
music speaks for itself.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Whole thing about dance music. That's really cool. We create that community.
Yes.
Cool. Any further questions? We're gonna leave a couple more minutes for questions. Yeah, I don't know.
This has
That
been
was a good
so
question.
This has been
hmm
so fun, seriously.
hmm
Like I love
Yeah.
putting this together for y'all. I really hope that you found a lot of value out of it. And yeah, I mean, you can follow us on Instagram. I'm at Bexxie Music. Helena, you're at this.
This
It,
is Helena, Helana,
yeah,
and you can
I
see that
wasn't
my
sure if there
name
was
is here.
dot. I couldn't remember if there was dots
There's
in.
a dot. Yeah, there's a dot, but I think you'll be able to find it. I have a pretty unique first name.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, you can if you do have any questions that to pop up afterwards, feel free to just like hit us up on Instagram, just DM us. We'd be happy to answer any questions you
for
have.
sure. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, well, I guess that's all we have time for
All
today.
right. Yeah, yeah, this was great. Thanks everybody for coming. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to hit us up.
Yep.
All right,
Cool.